In more news out of our nation's capital, we're following the continuing resolution or stopgap measure that Congress passed in September. It's a short-term spending solution that keeps the government open until Congress can agree on spending bills for the next year.
Erie News Now, Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon is live to tell us how the measure helped avoid a government shutdown temporarily and how the new deadline is quickly approaching. Good evening, Brendan.
Hey there, Mike and Eva. Good evening. Well, there's a general consensus here that lawmakers want to avoid a government shutdown with that deadline just around the corner, November 17th. And in order to meet that deadline, there's still a lot of work that has to be done here on Capitol Hill. At the end of the day, Congress needs to finalize about a dozen appropriations bills which will fund the military, federal programs, and agencies through September 2024. But debating and ultimately agreeing on those 12 bills is going to require time and consensus, two things that are hard to find in a very divided Congress, and one on a deadline as well. So the Senate has passed a handful of spending bills with strong bipartisan support, but again, getting support in a deeply divided House with a new Speaker who is still getting his footing will be a challenge. House Speaker Mike Johnson has told reporters he wants to get all 12 appropriations bills finalized, but says he's open to another continuing resolution if absolutely necessary. House Democrats say the best path is a continuing resolution with the current funding levels, which would keep the lights on through the holidays and into January.
A continuing resolution that is at the fiscal year 2023 levels is the only way forward, because that's the status quo.
And Mike and Eva, keep in mind, it's this issue of spending that drove some House Republicans, drove that effort to oust former Speaker Kevin McCarthy after he worked with Democrats to pass that original continuing resolution and avoid a government shutdown. So Speaker Johnson has inevitably a pretty tough test here over the next week or so to try to work and get consensus with the Senate and also members of his own party in the House. Again, quickly, time is running out here. That deadline just a week from tomorrow. Mike, Eva?